Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to the Q2 FY22 earnings conference call of Srikalahasti Pipes Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star, then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Anuj Sonpal, CEO of Valorem Advisors. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Anuj Sonpal from Valorem Advisors. We represent the investor relations of Srikalahasti Pipes Limited. On behalf of the company, I would like to thank you all for participating in the company's earnings call for the second quarter of financial year 2022. Before we begin, let me mention a short cautionary statement. Some of the statements made in today's earnings con call may be forward-looking in nature. Such forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties which could cause actual results to differ from those anticipated. Such statements are based on management's beliefs as well as assumptions made by and information currently available to management. Audiences are cautioned not to place any undue reliance on these forward-looking statements in making any investment decisions. The purpose of today's earnings con call is purely to educate and bring awareness about the company's fundamental business and financial quarter under review. Now let me introduce you to the management participating with us in today's earnings call. We have with us Mr. Sivalai Senthilnathan, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. V.M. Sridharan, Senior General Manager of Finance, Mr. Gaurav Somani, Joint General Manager of Finance. Without any further delay, I request Mr. Senthilnathan to give his opening remarks. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Anuj. Good morning, everybody. It is a pleasure to welcome you to the earnings conference call for the first half and second quarter of financial year 2022. Firstly, I hope that everyone is keeping safe and well. Let me first take you through the financial performance for Q2 financial year 22 of our company on a consolidated basis. The operating income for the quarter was rupees 448 crore, an increase of about 8% year on year. Operating EBITDA reported was about rupees 70 crores, a significant increase of approximately 20% year on year, and the EBITDA margin stood at about 15.54%. Net profit after tax reported was around rupees 36 crore, an increase of 43% year on year, while the PAT margin percentage was about 8%. For the first half of financial year 2022, the operating income stood at rupees 895 crore, an increase of 41% compared to first half of last year. Operating EBITDA stood at rupees 147 crore, which is a significant increase of around 104% year on year. EBITDA margins were reported at 16.41%, and net profit after tax stood at rupees 79 crore, an increase of about 261% year on year. PAT margins improved to 8.83% compared to 2.7% during the first half of last financial year. Coming to the operational highlights for the second quarter, the production for the ductile iron pipes for the quarter was 51,627 tons as against the production of 46,146 tons during the corresponding quarter of the previous year. During the quarter under review, the plant was shut down for 18 days for installation and commissioning of the new blast furnace. The new blast furnace of 450 metric ton capacity, cubic 3 capacity has now been commissioned. With this, we can now open the floor for the questions and the answer session, please.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, namaskar sir, and thank you for the opportunity. Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, firstly, sir, if you could give the status of the current merger with Electro Steel Casting. Where are we in it, and what is the completion timeline?
Okay. See this, know that the shareholder meetings and the creditors, secured and unsecured, all got over, and various statutory procedures are being followed, and it is in the hands of NCLT. So whatever the hearing has to happen, it all happened. So we expect that maybe in the coming week or so, we can expect some order from the NCLT.
Sir, now coming to the business aspect, sir, if you could give us an understanding of what the business environment currently is for the DI pipe industry and Shree Pipe and SPL in particular, and what are the current headwinds being faced by the sector, and what steps the management has taken to mitigate its impact.
Okay, Mr. Saket Kapoor. As far as the industry is concerned, it is growing well. That is why we are expanding our capacity. We are already into 4 lakh tons in the phase 1, and the phase 2, our expansion for 5 lakh ton capacity is also progressing. And so we see there is a good demand for DI pipes, and the environment is good. As you are aware that providing drinking water is still a challenge for each and every government, and still majority, I would say that around 60% or so of the population is not having the tapped water, and the DI pipe is one of the preferred mode of transmitting the water and the sewage water. So there will be a good demand in coming years also. And the challenges side, if you see that the volatility in the raw material prices would be one, and you know that at the moment of coal prices across all the sectors got affected over is depending on coal, and the prices are going up, and now we are seeing that last 1 or 2 days little dip in that. So that was the challenge, and we are, wherever possible, we are getting the renegotiating and getting that passed on to the customers. And obviously the new orders, whatever we are getting, are all considering the increase in the raw material prices. So that is how we are mitigating that risk. So I think I answered your questions.
Can you give some more color on the old order book since the vagaries of raw material? Are we doing back-to-back purchase of the raw material, or how is that? What are the old orders wherein there will be margin compression? And if you could give some more color on the order booking status also. And also, sir, the volume number for the first half, sir, the production and the sales number, and the H2 outlook in terms of the deliverables.
See, it is difficult to give that old order and new order. Not, it is a continuous process, and the today order book is around 2.5 lakh tons. And if you want the details of sales for Q2, I would say it was around 63,660 tons, and yeah, I think that is how we stand now.
And this 5,000. Yeah. Yes.
Senthil, I want to add here, Mr. Saket Kapoor. Number one is you were asking about the old orders. We are also negotiating for the price increase in the old orders, and we have been successful to a greater extent, and that is what is reflected in the average realization per ton going up. So our process is on. Thank you.
Sir, what is the uptick in the new orders in terms of the realization, sir? What were the older order
that
booking?
We cannot say, sir. That, as he rightly said, it is a combination, So some, for example, the old orders, we are negotiating, we are asking for price increase and all. If you want me to tell what is the old order, what is the new order, that cannot be. For example, you take L&T. L&T would have given, the orders will be many. I will not be able to split up what is the new order, what is the old order and all. So that is not practically possible.
Okay.
But we can
out of this, please.
Yeah, just to add to what Mr. Sridharan said, that we can say that we are able to successfully pass on the increase in the raw materials.
Exactly.
The average raw material prices going up, average NSR also going up. So we will be able to maintain our EBITDA, and by increasing the capacity, we are also able to show the growth. So that's what we want to put it to you.
Right, sir. And this 2.5 lakh tons order book is as on the closing of the September quarter, or as on even date today?
Today we can take it.
today. So this will get executed, sir, over a period of?
Next 8 months to 12 months time.
8 to 12 months time. Right, sir. Sir, I'll come in the queue, sir, for my follow-up. And thank you for hosting, sir, the call. And, sir, we look for the continuity also, sir, for the calls. And so that now when the merged entity comes up, there would be more clarity and more understanding on the merged account going forward. So are you taking the questions on electricity casting numbers also, sir, in this call?
No. We are restricting ourselves only to Srikalahasti Pipes Limited.
Okay. I'll come in the queue and thank you again, sir, for hosting.
Thank you, Saket.
Thank you.
Next up.
Before we take the next question, a reminder to the participants, please limit your questions to 2 per participant. For any follow-up, may we request you to rejoin the queue. The next question is from the line of Jayesh Parekh from JMP Capital. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I have one small accounting bookkeeping related query. In our current asset schedule, under item number 2B, there is a loan of 95 crores. And then there is other financial assets of about 64 crores. So this is pertaining to what?
Well, I mean, that is the intercorporate loan what we have given. If you have seen that earlier, it was around, 150 or around so crores. Now it is getting reduced.
No, I don't think it is getting reduced. It has gone up from 17 crore to 95 crore. And 20
March to September, yes. But earlier, I'm talking about last 2-3 years. And as the other avenues, the interest rates are coming down, so we are keeping this one so that our interest income is sticking. And as we are, expanding and incurring the capex expenditure, we are slowly getting these investments and we are putting into the capex.
And what is this other current assets of 183 crore?
Those things, some of the sales tax. No, that is also mutual fund investments which we have redeemed, which are on that day it was not coming. The next day it has come about 40 crores. The other subsidy receivable from the state government. So those 2 things majorly.
See, my view is there on, if you see on your liability side, on working capital side, your borrowing has gone up from 158 crore to 277 crore. Your operational buyer supplier credit has gone up from 180 crore to 225 crore. So almost your debt level has gone up by 170 crore. On one side we are borrowing 170 crore from banking channel, and on another side we are giving loan, intercorporate loan. So this is something,
Sir, I will answer your question.
I
don't understood you rightly.
Complete my observation, please. So I don't agree with your answer that we are keeping this balance for our capex and all. That is not very convincing.
Sir, let me answer your question, sir. I have understood your question. You are telling, if I have understood you rightly, you are telling that you are borrowing and you are investing. Sir, may I know your, I would like to bring your kind attention. These are the, CC drawals in the month end to satisfy the banks. Our WCD, our working capital limits are drawn on 30th September only. It is not a regular borrowing. Again, on 1st of October, these are cleared. So we don't borrow and, give intercorporate loans. Our money only, whatever our surplus cash only we are giving.
Okay, Mr. Jayesh Parekh. So, sir, just to add on to what Mr. Sridharan said, maybe something more I will add on here. See, the supply of credit, the rate of interest is very low. You know that when we are borrowing from the foreign currency, the rate of interest is very, very low, less than around 2 or 3% rate, and we are also having a hedging strategy so that we are able to maintain at a lower borrowing cost. And to your question that the borrower versus keeping some investments, we are also having, other strategic interest that there are some SIC units which are all coming, which we are in the initial stage in the banks and all. So we just want to keep some funds for a few more 1 or 2 quarters, and we want to observe that. That is another strategical purpose that why we are keeping some of the investments in our kitty.
No, anyway, it's okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Riddesh Gandhi from Discovery Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Can you just update us on the process for the combination with Electrosteel? As in the timeline expected,
sir, we are talking on a standalone on SPL, sir, because we ourselves we are not.
No. I'm not asking about Electrosteel. I'm asking for the timelines for the combination, which is effectively an SPL issue, na?
Which one, sir? I didn't get your question.
The merger.
Huh?
I think there is timelines for the merger with actually Electrosteel.
No, just now our CFO replied. No, please repeat, Senthil.
I'm saying the timeline for the merger with Electrosteel. Hello?
ನೀವು ಕಟ್ಟ ಇರ್ತಾ ನಾ ಕೂಪರ್ರ Hello?
Yeah, I'm talking about the timeline for the merger with Electrosteel.
Sir, just now our CFO explained, we are expecting the NCLT order by this month end of both the companies, and immediately after that the merger will take place, maybe 30 days from there.
Okay. Then
Anuj, Mr. Anuj?
Yes, I can hear you, Sri Dhananjay.
Sir, Mr. Senthilnadhan's call is cut off. Can you please reconnect him?
Connecting, don't worry. We'll just connect in the meantime. The operator is trying to connect at the back end. Just hold on. In the meantime, Riddesh, if you have any other questions for Sridharanji.
The question is that given your existing order book and given where RMs are, is there any sort of guidance you can give us for EBITDA a ton over the next year?
Hold on, Let our CFO join. Hold on. There is some disturbance. Hold on. Hello?
Sir, please stay connected. We are trying to connect Mr. Senthil.
Yeah, I am with him only. Hello? Hello?
Sir, we have Mr. Senthil Nathan connected.
No. Yes, please. Thank you.
Hi. So, if you could give us an indication, obviously we have taken and already had a reasonably large order book, and obviously the prices of RMs are up, and you were talking about negotiating that the prices upwards, etc. Is there any indication they expect EBITDA a ton to be in the year forward that you can give us an indication of?
Sir, it is very difficult to, talk about that because of the, restrictions we have. But I will definitely say that if you see that since we have increased our capacity to 4 lakh tons, so per quarter it will be at least 1 lakh ton production and the dispatch. So accordingly, I can say that the Q3 and Q4 we can expect in that line. And obviously, because now the production increased, various cost elements per ton will come down. So all those things will definitely help to improve the EBITDA and the profitability. To that extent, I'm sure that.
Good. And actually, for our entire book, effectively, for our entire capacity, our order book is covering demand for our entire capacity?
Yes. I mean, we are having, as the prices are increasing, some orders, I mean, we are also not accepting if it is not meeting our price. So we are very cautious, and not that we are taking all the orders, but we are fully covered for our capacity.
Got it. And the other question is there any incremental capacity which is restarting in South India with regards to any of the Sathavahana or any of the other distressed assets out there? Is there any capacity you expect to come on stream in southern India?
No, as of now we don't see that, but though they are expected to comment, that's what we are hearing. But we are not bothered, sir, because that was in existence earlier also. We were able to successfully, meet the requirements of our customers with better, relationship and service, etc. So we don't see any threat, though. We expect them to be in the field sooner.
Got it. So the only other prices as per what the earlier caller was actually saying is, we understand you are trying to optimize for 1 to 2% higher by doing all these ICDs, etc. But if you actually avoid all of this, you'll see a reasonable increase in your stock price, because there's a high degree of skepticism with regards to the ICD provided.
Sir, your suggestion is well noted. But what happens, sir, see, you will find, whatever is the cash, we invest on so many things. It is not only that all the money is parked in ICL. We parked in fixed deposit, we park in mutual fund, we park in ICL. So the average rate of interest is what we are interested in. We are also looking for so many opportunities. It is not that, all these ICLs, you will see whenever we want, we can get it. So it is not a problem for us as such.
Yeah, but look,
the suggestion is well taken.
Sir, understood, sir. To add to what Mr. Sridharan said, that when we are going for this second phase of our expansion from 4 lakh to 5 lakh, definitely that will come down drastically.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikas Singh from Phillip Capital. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir, I just want to understand, in your total 2.5 lakh tons of order book, what percentage is to the states of Andhra and Telangana? As we have heard a lot of news about the finances of these states are in a dire state, and the execution pace has been much slower than what everybody was anticipating. So if you could just give us your thought process on this.
Roughly around, Andhra, Telangana, around, we can say around 15%, but majority we are expecting from Tamil Nadu, around maybe 40% or so. And also from other states like Kerala and Karnataka also, they are about 15 to 20% each. And also in Maharashtra. So I would say that Tamil Nadu is having a major chunk as of now.
And about the order execution from these two states, or how do you see it going forward?
What do you mean by order execution?
No, in Andhra and Telangana,
what we have had that the EPC contractors' work in these states had been going a little bit slow, which could have impact on our dispatches. So just wanted your understanding on the situation.
No, as I said that our total order, it is, around 10% only we have from these states, and we don't see any, problem in that. As we are not directly dealing with the governments and mostly with EPC contractors, and all are against BG or LC or the advance amount. So our cash flow and the credit risk is not at all affected. Not only in these states, but also in general.
Understood. And so in terms of the market pending demand, I understand that the orders award has been a little bit slow because of the pricing as well as COVID issue. So just wanted to understand what kind of orders or the pending bid book you are expecting in the next 1 to 1.5 half years, and the timeline for ramp up of this additional capacity?
Well, I mean, we expect a lot of orders from the irrigation side. That is what, I mean, we are seeing that in the last few quarters also. And as far as the timeline is concerned, we expect our additional capacity will be in place by Q4 of next financial year, that is 22-23.
So anything you want to quantify in terms of the tonnage which are pending, or the bid book which could you can build in next 6 to 8 months in terms of tonnage?
See, I mean, there is no bid book or hit ratio here because as most of the business of DIP in South is through EPC contractors, so bid book and hit ratio terms are not relevant for us actually.
Number one and number two, sir. See, today we have got about 2.25 or 2.5 lakh tons of order. These are, spread over 6 to 12 month period. But what happens is, apart from that, we get regular orders also. And we are confident of selling the entire production of 4 lakh tons. We don't anticipate any problem in selling all the material that we are producing.
Understood. So just lastly, what is the cost of production increase we are expecting in 3Q?
You mean, can you be a little specific?
So basically, coking coal cost which would go into our numbers. So basically, overall the cost inflation, the production cost inflation.
Okay, so we can expect around 10 to 15% increase.
That's all from my side. Thank you, sir, for answering my question.
Thank you, Philip Capital.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sahil Sanghvi from Monarch Network Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir. I just wanted to understand, so a couple of my questions have been answered on the raw material front and the order book front. I just wanted to understand the movement on the realizations front, sir. So the new orders that you're booking, are they coming at higher price because raw material prices have moved up a lot? So I just want to understand the pass on if it's happening or not, and when can we see the margins going up again?
No, already whatever the orders we are taking, it is in the, the raw material price increase has been passed on. And so that is taken care. That's what I would like to say.
So could you quantify, sir, as compared to the reported quarter, how will the realizations move in that comparison?
Yeah, average we can say now it is around the range of 47,000 rupees per metric ton average. So earlier it was around 42 in that range.
Okay, got it, sir. And sir, when it comes to coking coal prices, how are we placed, sir? I mean, because coking coal prices have moved up a lot. So what kind of hikes on that front can we expect moving up in Q3 and Q4? And what kind of securities do we have?
See, we have in terms of availability of raw material, we are very safe. We have good amount. For next, I can say 4 to 6 months, there is no issue at all. It is a blend of about 4 to 5 varieties of coal. That's what we are using, and by and large, it is all secured in terms of availability. And the price compared to the previous quarters, yes, it is increasing. The similar what I said for NSR here also, we can say that 10 to 15% there is an increase in the coal prices.
Okay. And lastly, sir, which are the states in which you are seeing new demand for DI pipes coming in, new tenders being floated, or any particular states which are showing very high activity on that front from the water project front?
We see that a lot of orders coming from Tamil Nadu and also from Kerala, Maharashtra. So, in Tamil Nadu, the elections are over, the Kerala also over, so maybe that may be the reason. So, I'm not sure about that, but we see a lot of orders from those states.
And so, lastly, on your new commission capacity, what kind of ramp-up can we expect? You already told that we can expect 1 lakh production in Q3, Q4, so that's realizable? We can ramp up so fast?
Yes. Because we started, commissioned in August itself, that is the middle of second quarter. So it got stabilized in Q2 and also October also over. We are already seeing that the kind of production that is happening. So we are very confident that we will be, doing that 1 lakh per quarter.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Aditya Nahar from Alpana Enterprises. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. First of all, thank you for doing this call. I hope it's a regular feature. So my question is slightly different. There are different numbers floating around for the Biden infrastructure bill, etc. But what do you think the impact will be for our company in terms of the opportunity over there for replacing all the lead pipes, etc. in America? If you can comment on that in some detail.
So, I mean, can you repeat it? I mean, you're talking about something in America?
Yes, sir. So President Biden signed the infrastructure bill. In that,
Okay.
there is a almost a half of 50 billion investment required for water.
Right.
This is basically changing the lead pipes which are there for many years. For our company, is there an opportunity to capitalize on this? Given
Fine.
we have the best, lowest cost.
Yeah. Thank you for it. See, I'm not getting into that specific of the US the infrastructure bill or so. But since we are expanding our capacity, we are also looking into the ways and means of doing our pipes. Exporting the pipes. So as you are aware that already our parent company Electrosteel Castings Limited, about 50% of their production is being exported, and we are not familiar with the overseas market. So we are working on that, and that's what I would be putting it to you as of now. Since we are focusing mostly on domestic as of now, and we are getting good realization also, so we are catering to that. And as a strategy to meet the additional production that will happen once we complete the 5 lakh tons, we are also looking into doing the export, so that we are working on.
Correct. So because obviously you know the industry better than I do, but thank you so much for your comment. Is there any remaining capacity left in India, or do you think any old plant? I think somebody alluded earlier as well. Is there anybody else who can logically sort of start competing with you in the similar market?
Competition will be there. In South, as of now, we don't see anything except Satavahana, which was there earlier also. And so we don't see any threat or anything as we have already seen their presence in the market, and we are able to always serve our capacity. So we don't see that much of a threat.
Okay.
Sir, I would like to add only one thing here, sir. We and Electrosteel are in the market from 1995 onwards. And all the customers, maybe it is L&T or whoever the EPC contractors, are well aware of us, our quality, our quantity, our commitment to supplying time and all that. So somewhere some capacity increase is happening will not affect our marketing prospects at all.
Right. Got it. And so thank you for that. And my last question is, let's assume hypothetically if exports do sort of become a large percentage of the parent company Electrosteel, do you think there'll be a tightening of the rates in the domestic market because there'll be no basically capacity or quality capacity left? Is that a possibility, sir?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so, sir, because as our CFO said earlier, Electrosteel is already exporting 50% of their capacity. And
right.
Our 4 lakh tons today, whatever we are producing, we are sure of dispatching in the domestic market. Our domestic market, once we go up to 5 lakh tons, yes, we will certainly see an opportunity for exports. But you should also appreciate the fact that demand is also going up. Sir, you would also appreciate Bombay was about 10 years back and what it is today. Once upon 10 years back, up to Borivali or up to Karjat, it was there. Now Bombay has expanded up to Pune. So when the expansion takes place in each and every city, I'm only quoting an example of Bombay. And you take a Chennai, you take everywhere, the city is expanding. So, the whatever sand, the provision will happen. So, the increase in competition will not, deter us. We don't bother about that. We are confident and we are fully committed. We have committed customers also, like as I told L&Ts and all. They will not go from us.
No, you're right, sir, and I appreciate that point. The issue is that if you track the steel companies, I'm sure you do, sir, they finished their export quotas actually in less than a quarter actually. And if you compare realizations across the board, America was the highest actually. At some point it was 1450, 1500. So that's why I was asking, there could be a possibility that you might want to export more.
Certainly.
That's where I was coming from.
Certainly, sir. At the same time, I will have to take care of my domestic market. And as you rightly said, another 1 lakh ton is going to come. We will certainly go for exports. And again, sir, it all depends on the realization. I get more realization in the export, I will be certainly attractive towards that only.
Absolutely.
We will certainly do that.
Thank you so much, and I hope you continue doing the call, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rishikesh Oja from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes,
sir, please.
Great. Okay. So, sir, first question is regarding the new capacity of 1 lakh ton that you said that will be available from Q4 of next year, right?
The additional capacity, already we have commissioned 4 lakh ton capacity. That is an addition of 1 lakh from our earlier capacity of 3 lakh. So our original plan is to enhance it to 5 lakh ton. So it is in a phased manner. So phase 1 got completed. The phase 2 additional 1 lakh capacity, which will complete our 5 lakh capacity, enhancement of our production capacity. That additional 1 lakh will get completed in the Q4 of 22-23. Yes.
Okay. And so we are already talking about, I think you're saying 1 lakh per quarter production. So we are already talking about 100% capacity utilization, right?
Yes, this 4 lakh, 1 lakh per quarter, Q3 and Q4 we can expect.
Okay, so at a full 100% capacity utilization, what is our revenue potential?
You mean, that's what I said that.
Top line, sir? Top line?
Yes, sir. Top line. What is the top line potential at 100% capacity utilization?
Well, you can take, 4 lakh, at least for the current year, 21-22, you can take, approximately, at the rate of 45,000 overall average realization.
Sorry, I missed your realization though.
No, I am talking. You can take, on a hypothetical basis, 4 lakh ton into 45,000 will be our top line.
Okay, got it. Okay, so this sort of utilizations we are going to continue into next year also?
Yes, because he said that the capacity of 5 lakh ton will come later in 23, fourth quarter. So this 4 lakhs will only continue now.
Okay, and we are going to maintain, right? We are seeing that sort of demand that we are going to maintain 100% utilization next year.
Yes. After the capacity increase has been done, keeping in view of the demand. So we will not reduce our production. We will go ahead full blast.
Okay, got it. And one last question, sir. If you could indicate what sort of EBITDA margins are you going to maintain going ahead? So it would be great if you could, just indicate a range sort of that you'll be able to maintain around 15 to 17, the kind of you were doing in last 2 quarters.
Yeah, we can expect, increase, but it's very difficult. But anyhow, around 18%, we can look into.
Okay. So around 18% is sustainable, right? Going next year and this year?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anurag Patil from Roha Assets. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. Sir, for phase 2, how much will be the capex number?
It's roughly around 250 to 300 crores, sir. We are working on that only. Yeah.
Okay, and will it be internally funded or we will be looking for further debt?
Both, sir. 50-50 is what our plan now.
Okay. And sir, I just need the production and sales volume numbers for the Q1 22 quarter.
Q1 of this current financial, Q1 or Q2?
Q1, sir, Q1 of current financial year.
Okay, Q1 was 64,516 ton production of DI pipes.
And sales volume number?
64,104.
Okay, sir. That's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Saket Kapoor from Kapoor Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, you mentioned about Tamil Nadu having the largest chunk of our order book. So are we, is the state executing any big order wherein we are one of the supplier? And if you could give some more color, 40% I think so of the order booking is from the state of Tamil Nadu, or are there any small pockets of small orders?
Sir, as I said that a lot of irrigation projects are coming up, so that's what I could say as of now. And other states, maybe because of various reasons, including the increase in the prices, or it could be for other reasons, we are not taking the orders. So though other states are also coming out with, we are very particular about our NSR, and accordingly we are considering the fresh orders. As far as Tamil Nadu is concerned, apart from regular orders, we see many irrigation projects are coming.
Right. Sir, what is our net debt level, sir, or net cash balance as on September?
See, our long-term debts are 209 crore as on 30th September. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, Sridharji.
And the working capital that is short-term is about 223 crores. And we have got a cash of about 327 crores.
Around 100 and something. Sir, if we take the states of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, therein we are seeing a lot of traction in terms of the water projects, the interlinking, and UP also going up for elections. So, are we a supplier for the state of Uttar Pradesh, or the logistic cost or the distance?
We are supplying to Madhya Pradesh, Odisha and all, but UP, as you rightly said, that it is the logistics cost will come into picture, and where our electro-steel castings would be in a better position to reach them with a lesser logistics cost. So they will be covering that north and east parts.
Right.
Thank you.
In terms of the cost, yes, sir. Only small point. In terms of cost optimization, I think so we did some ferroalloy expansion also. How is that benefiting us? And also on the cost optimization, what other steps are we in the annual that will improve the margins going forward? If you could elaborate, we are the I think the most cost efficient player, DI player. So if you could elaborate, what steps are there, and when is that going to boost the margin?
You're absolutely right, sir. The ferrosilicon plant now it is fully into operations, and the realization also good, and in fact it also secured our raw material availability, because we were getting it from faraway places like Bhutan and all. So now that is secured, and we are also sell the ferrosilicon to the outside market at a good realization now, and there is a good amount of contribution coming from the ferrosilicon as well. So that is right. And now as we are focusing on the 4 lakh ton capacity and various cost reductions because of increase in the volume, which we are focusing that to get stabilized. And also parallelly we are working towards increasing the capacity to 5 lakh tons. So obviously this itself will give a kind of a cost reduction overall. So that is what we are focusing. I mean, this I'm just telling that, but there are a lot of efforts being made in terms of, each of the divisions we have, like Coco One or the MBF or the DIP or even we have a small cement plant. So there also we are working on how we can improve our profitability by changing or substituting various raw materials, which are all coming as byproduct from the ferrosilicon, or whatever the slag coming out of cement plant which we are using to MBF, and also the VF gas which is being produced, which are used to generate the power. So that are all being carried out to optimize our cost.
Sir, on the cost of power, we are only using coal as the source, or are we looking for renewable investment?
also going
No, we are not using coal for our power. We are using the steam generator from the COP, and the mainly that is what is the source of our power generation, and also from blast furnace gas. So mainly, I mean, out of today's requirement, I have about 20 plus, megawatt. About 14 megawatts are captively generated. So the rest of the power are purchased from either IEX or from the APSPDCL.
So sir, just to conclude, H2 is looking much bigger in terms of the deliverables, as we are looking forward for 1 lakh per ton for the December and the March quarter. And going forward also, the visibility in terms of business environment and the order execution is robust. And it is only the raw material vagaries that may impact the margins in some way or other, but that will also be on a lag effect.
Your understanding is absolutely right, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for hosting, and thank you, Anuj, for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. Participants, to ask a question may press star and 1 now. As there are no further questions, I now hand the conference over to Mr. Senthil Nathan, CFO of Sri Kalahasti Pipes Limited. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for all the investor community who have come on call today. And thank you, Mr. Anuj and the chorus for hosting the call. And I wish everyone is safe and keeping all the COVID protocols. Still, we hear that COVID is affecting. So I wish you all the best and thank you for participating.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Sri Kalahasti Pipes Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you all for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.